Welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time to take a look at this video. We love back to school night and we love being able to connect with our families and really launch the school year in a positive way where you get to see your children's classrooms and meet your children's teachers. And some of the logistics behind the school year, some of the questions you may have as we get ready to really dig into our core learning, sometimes go unanswered. So I wanted to take some time to outline a few of the things that are consistent within the middle school, some of the policies and procedures, and some of the things that are new for this year. But I didn't want to take too much time during our back to school night event because really the key attraction were the teachers and you getting to meet them and be in their classrooms. So feel free to listen to this at warp speed, fast forward through any points that you feel are redundant, but I did want to lay out a couple of things. So welcome, welcome. So today we are going to discuss some key aspects of our program. We're going to review some important policies, and I'm going to discuss just a couple of procedures. But as always, please feel free to reach out by email if you have any additional questions after this video. Most important to our mission is the fact that we are helping our children become bilingual, biliterate, and bicultural. And as I mentioned during our back to school evening, it's not an easy feat. They really do hard things all the time. Our teachers are so dedicated to making sure that your children practice their Spanish, that they stop and reflect on their production so that they can make sure that they're doing really tough work and really learning complex concepts while learning in their second language. And part of that process to becoming bilingual, biliterate, and bicultural really does involve stretching the brain in a unique way. All the research shows that learning multiple languages helps to shape the brain in a very special way. Children can retrieve information in multiple languages. So when they know a concept and they learned it, let's say in English, they can retrieve it and then produce work about it in Spanish and the other way around. And if your children know more than one language, even better. Their brains and their synapses are really designed to do things more quickly, to process information more at a more complex level, and it really does allow them to do amazing things with the content that they're learning. And as I mentioned during our back to school event, I do ask that you help our children to remember that this process is not supposed to be an easy one. And so as children get older, they go from kind of feeling like, okay, school is easy, and they're able to absorb the content pretty quickly and pretty much like a sponge. And when they move to the middle school ages, things get a little tougher. And so they have to work a little bit more. And beyond having to work a little bit more with the content, they start to realize that they have to work a little bit more with the language. And so when your children complain about, oh, Spanish is so hard, or oh, Spanish week is just more tough, that's the truth. It is tough. They learn in a different language and they're doing really hard things. The benefit outweighs the work that goes into this process, and I just ask that you partner with us in reminding our children, as we do every day, that yep, we do really hard things, and that's what makes them special, that's what makes their learning special, and that's really what's shaping their brain in such a unique way. And as their support community, we have to work together to make sure that when children understand that they have to put in the hard work and effort to things that don't always come easily, they are able to strengthen and hone those abilities. Their use of corrective feedback, the fact that they have to stop and pause and really think through their production, is really going to help them to just achieve so much more as they get older. And it's really important that we reinforce that mistakes are expected. They're supposed to make mistakes. It's through those mistakes that they will grow. This year has already been off to an amazing start. Your children came back ready to learn and ready to dig in, and we're so excited for all the amazing things that they're going to achieve. This year, we're so excited that we were able to provide individual access to Genesis for our students. This is the first year that children can access their own Genesis accounts, which is amazing. It gives them some autonomy and ownership over their own progress. So I do ask that you remind them to check their Genesis. We did try to make sure that it's only available between 3 p.m. and 7:59 a.m. That way, children are not too worried about checking their grades during the school day. That really is a distraction, and we want them to focus on the activity of learning and then worry about the results thereafter. But we do want to empower our children to be able to follow up with their teachers on their own when they see their grades posted and when they're working through their Google Classroom, let's say homework assignments, so that they can really get a better feel for their own progress. They do have different levels of access than parents. So, parents, you'll still receive your forms and all your demographic information, your address stuff. That's all on your portal. The children will only have access to their schedule and to their grading throughout the afternoon hours. And really, one question that comes to mind is really how frequently should our children check their grades? And as a rule of thumb, I've always said that checking once a week should be sufficient. Teachers update grades within about 7 days of an assignment's deadline, so they don't have to check every day. I think that causes a sense of anxiety and unnecessary additional stress. But if you designate one day of the week with your child to make sure that that's their Genesis checking day, that should be sufficient. This year, we're also excited to announce that in grades 5 and 6, we've launched Lightbulb Labs. Our students will be pulled based on their data, and they'll be able to participate in either Spanish reading, but they'll be pulled from both language arts classes, English and Spanish, or math based on their math data. There's also an after school program with Ms. Galarza where she'll be working with the students who were previously identified for that program through their COGAT scores. And really, this allows students to, the Lightbulb Lab process in mathematics and Spanish language arts allows our children to showcase their own learning. And when students are strong in a particular topic, they're able to then be pulled and receive additional development or differentiation beyond their standard coursework, which is really exciting. For more information about that program, you can reach out to Ms. Galarza. I did want to mention that we have been really thinking about our AI and plagiarism policy as a school this year or this summer. We spent a lot of time digging into the hard work that it takes to be an OLA student and what we want our children to be able to do on their own when they graduate. And a lot of that involves their ability to think critically and their ability to really produce Spanish on their own. So, although our policy is not new, we are asking for your help in reinforcing this policy. And at this level of their development, we really are asking that student work be 100% original 100% of the time. What that means is students should not be using AI to help them draft any kind of original content, nor should they be using AI tools like Google Translate or any other automated tool to translate their work from English to Spanish. Even if a student writes something on their own in English and then pops it into Google Translate, the words that come out of Google Translate are not a reflection of their ability in Spanish. And that's really key to our students' ability to do the hard thing. They really need to be able to practice and to stretch their brains and to look in a dictionary and to figure out words that they don't know. And it's okay, again, if they make mistakes. We need to see their mistakes in order to help them to learn. And so it doesn't mean that students can't use an online dictionary or online tool, again, when they're stuck, if they need to look up a word or two. It's really when students are using the tools to replace their own understanding of the grammar or the syntax or the order of the sentence. And that looks like copying and pasting multiple words at a time. That really does look like even copying 3 or 4 words is beyond their what they would have produced. So we ask that at home you remind your children not to use the AI tools and to really try to do it themselves. Our teachers have had to revert to more paper-based assignments as a result of the ongoing challenge involved in the ease really in which students can get information at their fingertips, and that's okay. We'll roll with the technology as it goes, but really at this level of learning, students should be doing the hard work on their own because we're providing them their foundation. I know high schools have some different policies, and they have uh, adjusted their approach to allow more and more use of the technology, and I agree that students must learn how to become 21st century citizens. Again, at this age that we get to work with in the middle school, they really need to learn their own foundations and their own ability to think critically before relying on technology tools. There are so many reports on the impact of AI and relying on generative tools to create ideas and how it really is shrinking brain development. So we want to make sure that we're providing our children every opportunity to stretch their brains and to grow as they develop. So you can check our school handbook. I will link that to this presentation as well. And so in general, the consequences for the use of generative AI or any even web search tool will be that the student will earn a 0 for the assignment. Parents will be notified, and we will still hold students to the expectation of showcasing their learning to make sure that they haven't lost any critical information in the process. At home, we ask that you monitor your children when they're doing their homework to make sure that they're not heavily relying on these tools. And if you see that they're struggling or they are unsure how to respond at length to a given assignment, definitely let their teachers know. This is why we're asking for their original work so that we can know where we need to intervene and where we need to support them at any given time. Some other policies, procedures, and structures. Oh, wow. Let's talk about attendance. So the school day begins at 8 o'clock on the dot. Our doors open at 7:40 a.m. Students must be in their seats by 8 o'clock a.m. This does impact high school transcripts, or actually middle school transcripts going to high schools. They do pay attention to tardies and attendance, so we do ask that your children be present on time. If your child's sick, please reach out to office@olahoboken.org, and you can send a doctor's note for any extended illnesses to that same address. The office at email address will then allow our team to know that your child's absent, and they will notify your child's teachers. Just keep in mind that all absences can count towards chronic absenteeism, whether or not you have a doctor's note. That means that any student who's out of school for more than 10 days may be considered truant. And keep in mind that 5 tardies do equal 1 unexcused absence in determining truancy, but they don't count towards that chronic absenteeism count. This has been the state law since forever. And I just want to reiterate that students need to be present and actively engaged throughout the entire school day. Some questions have come up about grading. So I know that your teachers went over the grading policies in their classes, and I just wanted to make sure that we understand that homework and classwork, quizzes and tests and projects, they're all weighted. So tests count a little bit more than quizzes, which count a little bit more than homework and classwork. And we do have a standardized weighting policy across all classrooms. Students should expect homework nightly in their language arts and math classes. As your children get older in the 7th and 8th grade, they will also receive more homework over the weekend, particularly for the AP Spanish side. And they will receive classwork and project-based assignments in social studies and science. Homework for social studies and science looks more like a study guide or finalizing some notes from the previous lesson. So they come a little less frequently, but please do expect for your children to have homework every night in their core classes. Grades are really based on a variety of things. Classwork and exit tickets or participation all count towards that classwork category. Homework assignments vary. Sometimes you'll have some IXL links to practice. Sometimes students will have hard copy math packets to work on. That's the only class that will always have a hard copy assignment, and our teachers will post a PDF of the math assignment on their Google Classroom as well, so that if a student loses their math homework between school and home, they can still access the assignment. Written responses, incremental projects, labs, quizzes, tests, and interim assessments are given throughout the entire year. We did just start administering interim assessments in science each trimester alongside English, math, and Spanish language arts. So each trimester, students will be measured formally so that we could keep track of their progress towards their grade level standards. Those interim assessments count as quiz grades, and in every class quiz, the lowest quiz grade is dropped. So just keep that in mind as you're paying attention to your children's grading process. This information can also be found in the school handbook, and I'll make sure that I link that for you later on. Honor roll. So honor roll is something that is unique to the middle school. It is calculated at the end of the year. So this allows students to spend the whole year learning, and honor roll is based on their cumulative grades. By the end of the year, any students who maintain a 90% average in all of their academic classes, which includes social studies, science, math, and both language arts in English and Spanish, those classes need to have a 90 or above average together. Students also should maintain an S or an O in their specials classes, because those classes don't receive number grades, but they do receive behavior grades. Those students are eligible for honor roll, and high honor roll is the same parameter except at a 95% average cumulative. Any students who earn outstanding behavior grades across every classroom in a given trimester across all subjects will also receive that outstanding citizenship designation. We do celebrate our students at the end of the year with an honor roll assembly, which is a lot of fun. And we get to really honor the hard work and effort that our students put in each day. We also highlight our students' performance and their adherence to our core values as often as possible. It has worked out to be about every other month we're able to invite families into the school to celebrate those concrete behaviors that are really central to our mission and who we are as a community. So students who showcase our core values throughout the year are recognized in a school-wide assembly. They receive a certificate. They get called up in front of their peers. We celebrate their actions, and we really try to call out those concrete actions that have helped us to shape the community that we have. So students will hear us throughout the school day saying, "Oh, I see you showing integrity here, and that was great scholarship, and that was a great job being a global citizen and welcoming to your peers." And we want them to really understand the meaning of our core values. They're not just words that we tout throughout the year. They really are inherent to who we are as a community, and our students really do embody those daily, and so we look forward to celebrating when we see those characteristics shown throughout the day. So as we go through this school year, we do ask that you reach out whenever you have any questions, anything that comes up. And some ways to keep in touch would be through Genesis for your grades, Google Classroom. Make sure you sign up for those daily or weekly notifications so that you know what assignments are coming your children's way. Please make sure you've joined your child's Remind class so that you can see snapshots of the day, things that go on, anything that's upcoming, and we get to send you some pictures of what's happening in the classroom throughout the week. El Seminal is also a key communicating tool. I will be starting a Principal's Corner this year. I look forward to connecting with you and sharing some information and things that come my way so that we can continue this partnership together. If you need to speak to your children's teachers at any point, feel free to reach out to them and request a conference. We will have formal parent conferences in December for sure, but you're able to reach out to your teacher at any time if you have any questions or concerns. Email is probably the best way to contact any of our teachers because telephones would disrupt the classroom at that point. And so our teachers will be teaching throughout the day. We ask that you give them some time to be able to respond to your communications. For the most part, we ask that you assume the best, know that your teachers are actively engaged with your children throughout the day, and allow them about 48 hours for any non-urgent matters. Please reach out to your teacher first if you have any questions about the classwork or course materials, and then reach out to me anytime thereafter if you need additional support. Our teachers are available between 7:30 and 4 p.m. for the most part, Monday through Friday. So we do ask that you keep in mind that they won't be responding to emails over the weekend or anything outside of their contract hours, but give them the grace to be able to respond as needed. We definitely are on board with you and part of the team, and we want to make sure that your children are taken care of and that their needs are being met. In terms of the code of conduct, I will share that document with you. It is available via El Seminal every week as well. And we do use the responsive classroom approach to guiding our students. We know that they are budding teenagers and they will make mistakes, and our goal is really to help guide them as they grow into the young adults that they're becoming. We firmly believe in a restorative justice approach where we are able to help our students correct mistakes or reflect on their actions in order to grow from those actions. And that really comes first from setting clear expectations. Our students work with their teachers and with Señorita Lombana, our Dean of Students, so that we're really clear about what is appropriate behavior in the school environment. And then it progresses to some conversations, and we make sure that we speak with any students that are involved in infractions, large or small, to make sure that they understand how their behavior or comportment really impacts our community as a whole. We believe firmly in helping children resolve conflicts amongst themselves, so we will partner with them to help teach them how to have congenial restorative conversations when needed. And when students, when they err, we definitely ask them to take a pause and to reflect on why their behavior was such and how they could restore any relationships that may have been broken or repair any harm that was done. There is detention issued during lunch periods for the most part. We have rarely had to escalate beyond the lunch detention, but there are additional levels of consequences when things are notified as such. Loss of privilege is definitely a part of some of the consequences, but also the conversation piece that helps us to help children learn from their mistakes and their actions. In terms of our school-wide procedures, some things to keep in mind is that students are issued a Chromebook device. We do have one device per child. Each child has a labeled Chromebook to use throughout the day. They retrieve their device from their advisory class, and then they return it at the end of the day. It's uniquely numbered and follows that child. That way we know that children are able to get their work done that is technology based. And we do ask that you remind your children that those devices are things that they must care for. This one-to-one approach has allowed us to eliminate some damage to the devices, like picking off of keys, but because it is tagged to your individual child, if anything is smashed or broken or damaged, there is a fine involved with repair of that device. You will be notified, and we will definitely communicate any need to restore technology as needed. I did want to mention that we do have a platform called Go Guardian that we utilize within the middle school to help. I look at it like we're giving the students boundaries within their technology usage. So sure, we have a firewall that protects them from some of the more malicious content that's available on the internet. And our teachers have this added layer of security where they can limit how many tabs a student's able to open, or they can limit which websites students are able to access. Again, I chuckle because this is really a safeguarding measure to help our children make better decisions. They're still young, and the temptation is there to just jump into things that they're not supposed to be doing. So we do utilize this system to try to help them have fewer choices so that they can stay focused on the content that they're supposed to be working on throughout the day. And finally, we just ask that you help your children be classroom ready. That includes having their daily supplies ready. I've seen really 100% of our students with their binders. I know their backpacks are heavy because of the binders. They don't have to take them home if they don't need to use them for studying, but that they may have to take them home sometimes when they have materials in there that they need to review throughout the evening. Please make sure that they have ample paper or loose leaf paper within their binders, that they have folders, pencils, and their notebooks for language arts. Those notebooks can stay in their lockers. They never have to come home. Those serve as journals and independent reading reflection containers, for lack of a better word. So those can stay in their lockers, and we do ask that they keep whatever they don't need, including their science workbooks. If your children are coming home with their science workbooks in every language, they don't need to be carrying those. So if you can take a look at their backpack, ask them what they can leave behind. We are trying to teach them to limit what they're carrying too much, but at the same time, making sure that they have everything that they need. Please make sure that your child has a device at home to use for homework, and if you need any help with that, they can also stay in school for homework help from 4 p.m. I'm sorry, until 4 p.m. We have the library available Monday through Thursday so that students can get their homework done. We really are looking forward to having such a great year alongside your children. I know that this only scratched the surface of some of the ways in which we help our children be successful throughout the school day, and I'm happy to answer any other questions you may have. Go ahead and take a look at the school handbook if you have any specific questions about how things are done, and feel free to reach out at any time. I look forward to connecting this year, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Take care.